Alright, hello. I'm back at the easel. I have a big canvas up here, or it's a weird shape for me. It is a 20 by 20 that I'm working on. So I'll probably work on this a little while. It won't be one continuous video. It's snowing here, and it's cold, and it's supposed to snow maybe some more this weekend. So it's got me in a snowy mindset. And there's nothing I like more than big old mountains. So we're going to try to fill this thing up with mountains pretty much all the way down, and just have maybe some birch trees or something in the corners. But let's get started. I'm going to try this color. And I'll say this again, like I say in a lot of videos. If you're seeing the video, this worked out. If you're not, well, get out of my head, because you shouldn't even know I'm doing a video. Right? But let's see what we can do with it. So I'm going to take a fairly clean 2-inch brush here. Ross, I think's the name on the Bob. Oh yeah, it's Bob Ross. You may have heard of him. So let's grab us some. I'm going to grab Bob's flavor of mountain mix is what I'm going to use. And I'm going to see what this looks like. Actually, I want to wipe a little bit of it off. I want to go kind of light until I know if I like it. Oh yeah. It should make a very cold, no, we can use the whole brush here. A very cold sky if we do it right. I'd encourage you to get you a tube of this color. It's really nice just for background or just for your bushes, and putting in things in the painting that you need dark for. It's also, of course, good for mountains. It's a good mountain color. So it's good for lots of things. I think we can go a little darker. And like I said, this is going to be a little more cautious than normal. This is one of those gallery wrap canvases, so it's expensive. So I got to make sure it works okay. There we go. Let's put a little more dark up in the corner. And maybe just start working in some little stuff here, and just kind of let's just swirl in the color today. We're going to put some clouds in here, but we need a good dark base. And just as a tip, don't leave the tube uncovered. Put your caps back on them. I'll let the cap off this one. It's really dry. So see, you get all kinds of good tips here, right? Now I know there's probably only going to be this much sky showing for the most part, maybe about right there. So I don't want to go too crazy with it just yet, but we'll just throw a little bit of color everywhere. Again, this one should really look cold when we're done. And just throw a little bit over here, maybe just a little bit down here, just so we know we got something there. We don't want any more sky than that in this one. Alright, I'm going to load up a little more dark. I want this darker. Start up here. There. And you can keep doing it. That's one thing that Bob talked about, but it's also something I always stress, is that start with less and add more. Don't start with the most and try to take it back down, okay? Because once you get paint on the canvas, there's really no way to get it off without taking some thinner to it, or some good paper towels maybe. Okay, yeah, really decide if you like the color, especially if you're doing something that's a little more different than normal. And just, we're going to work with one or two colors here today on the canvas. So let's go swirl in like a cloudy shape, maybe right through there, maybe right in here. I don't know. It's something cold and stormy, and all kinds of good stuff. All right. With that done. And I think that's about as low as I need to go. We could, just for the sake of cleaning our brush, just kind of take it down here, because we'll probably have a little bit of foreground that will need a little bit of dark, something like that. And you can really just lay the brush down like that and pull it in if you need to. I think what I'm noticing is that I didn't put enough liquid white on the bottom here. That's enough for that. So I've got this brush that I started putting the liquid, or put the liquid white on with. I'm going to use as I dried it off. I'm going to use it just to kind of churn this back up a little bit. Just turn it up and knock it down. I'm just going all over. I want to stir the color up. I want it to be stormy looking. And then we'll do our normal, just kind of side to side blend here in a minute. Just kind of like this. Just set it down now. Okay? There, we got a decent little sky. Or I think it's decent. You guys may think otherwise. Alright. We'll grab some white, and I'm going to grab a fan brush, I think. Started to do the clouds with a 1-inch brush, but I'm a fan guy. Once you like a brush, you kind of stick with it. And, you know, if it does the job for you, that's all that matters. But I'm going to take a good bit of white, and I'll show you. And since I've only got 2 colors here, I'm not going to really pick up a palette and hold it. It just takes a lot of effort. It's more effort than I probably want to put into it. Where do we want a cloud? How about right here? And I'm noticing that this white is super dry. Oh goodness. It's working, but let's go spin some of that white in there, okay? What I'm going to do, excuse me, I'm going to take a little bit of liquid white and put it in my clouds color. And when I say a little, I'll show you. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but it's right, that little bit on the corner. And just add that into your white. If it's too thick and the paint just won't come off, sometimes you have to do that. Now on a mountain you may not want to do that. You want good, firm, solid paint, right? But there we go. On a cloud, we really want to kind of, we want that paint to come off there for us and work. Alright, there it is, one cloud. Let's brighten up one top right here. I want this really bright against that dark. Maybe something like that. Okay, now we got a good strong cloud in there. I think. I like it. Now I'm going to knock the bottom of it down. Let me just kind of twirl it up the top. There's our snow clouds that come. I guess they probably should be a little grayer than that, but there's a nice big cloud on a stormy sky. Right? Let's see how that looks on the camera. That looks pretty good. Pretty good. We'll just stir it up down here. Leave the tops nice and fluffy maybe, but we can if we wanted to. Just kind of do that and then just kind of knock them down. 2 hairs and some air, literally. And that's about right. About right. And the reason I'm going to do this in a few steps, I'm going to brighten that up right there. Just kind of back on that top a little bit. Let that fade off into nothing. The reason I'm doing this maybe in steps is I don't really know where I'm going. I just know I want a lot of mountains. So it may take me a little bit. Now here's a little trick. You got a lot of white there. I've got a little dark. What if I took a little more dark, scrubbed it back in? Just literally just kind of scrub it back in here. Watch this. Paintings are meant to be yours, so whatever you want to do to them, do it. Get that old darker there, okay? What you just can't keep doing is adding layers over layers over layers. You can add a thin layer of paint over a thin layer of paint and it won't get too thick. Oh, goodness. Where? Yeah, there's another little cloud. Something right in there in that dark one. You see that? And I'm just kind of swirling the brush right now. It's always good to kind of wipe. I don't, but just for learning's sake, it's good sometimes to wipe that brush off in between applications of paint for clouds. That way you can keep the cloud kind of pure and it won't turn into one color of blue or whatever you're using. You won't have tons of the blue on your clouds. There we go, a little partner there, partner cloud. I may, and it could lose a little bit of my contrast, but I want that one just to kind of disappear into that one right there. I'm just doing little circles. I know it's hard to see. You know, just doing something. We want a lot of movement. A lot of movement. And you're like, why are we taking so long on a cloudy sky that's going to get a lot of it covered up? You know why? Because I want to. I like painting. Don't always rush. You don't have to rush. You don't have to be like Bob and paint in 27 minutes. Bob would not want that. Bob had to do that for the TV show. Bob would have rather his shows been 1 hour so that he could have showed you so much more detail. So take that time and explore and have fun with it. Got another one somewhere, don't we? We knew it was coming. And shapes of clouds are determined upon your mood, I think. Usually my mood's a little sideways, so my clouds are usually coming in from the side. So let your clouds, be free. Okay? Just something up there, maybe. They don't all have to be huge. Just kind of, and literally it is little circles with probably a quarter of the hairs, maybe not even that much. It's kind of what Bob says. It's just hard to see that. Looks like you're using a whole brush. That's what I always thought too. So I'm just going to bring something down here, and maybe there's a little something up here, just wisping around. We see a little top. You can push a little brighter spot in if you want. That's nice. And then I'll tell you what, let's brighten this one up a little bit. Losing a little bit of that one. Circle, circle, circle. I'm just going to get in there and stir that up right there. I don't like that top. I don't like it, just change it. Go back, go over it, shorten it down, whatever. Clouds are meant to be free, so let them be yours and be free. There you go. Yeah. One more little one. That kind of goes up in the dark here, and watch this. Just smush it in. See how I'm turning that brush? It deposits the paint. Watch it, maybe more. You gotta be careful here. You can get really muddy. Here we go. Just a loosey-goosey sky. If you want to, you can blend these out. I'm just gonna leave them kind of chunky. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'll blend it out just a touch. It's kind of like a C, backwards C here. And just kind of set it all back down here, wherever we want. All right. Got a cloudy, stormy cloudy sky. That's what I wanted. Now I'm going to find me a knife that's clean. I've been bad about leaving paint on my knives. So I'm going to grab some white that doesn't have liquid white in it for my clouds. And I'm going to grab some mountain mix. You're like, Lord, why are you grabbing mountain mix? I'm going to make a light blue here. I'll show you what it looks like. It's about the color of the sky. Maybe just a touch darker. We want it to be darker than our sky color, but not by much. What we can do is put it on there, can't we? Alright, I may use my knife. I may switch back to my fan brush. I don't really know. Let's see what we got. Alright, here we go. Let's see, I'll probably switch to the fan brush, but I can put it on here a little bit. This one's going to be the background mountain. And I just kind of want it. It won't get any. Yeah, that's about the right color. It won't get any. That'll work. I can use a knife. You can, feel free to use fan brush. If you try to paint something like this, it may be easier on folks. I want it kind of rough, so the fan's actually nice. Maybe it kind of comes up over there into our clouds. This one just off in the distance. Maybe we'll raise it up. If we don't like it, we can always cover it with a bigger one, right? Got a lot of little things on it. That's about what we want. Just kind of scrape a little bit of that away. Let's grab our brush that we use for the blue, for the mountain mix. Let's just kind of pull here. I want this to be super misty. Yeah, that's what I want. This one won't even get a highlight, so. And sometimes you can pull it back this way, make a little valley. Okay? Like that. Don't pull them all the same way. I'm bad to do that. And don't kill it, really. Leave it. Yeah, about like that. The only part I don't like is this little part right here. Just put a little more color back there. It just gets pulled straight down. That's a little ridge. But you can keep walking out through there. And meet the little billy goats. And I've got a little defect in the canvas here, I can see. So I'm going to raise that one up. Just to meet that defect. Now I don't see the defect. So, you know, when this painting sells for several $1,000s, you wouldn't want somebody to have a defect in it, right? Yeah, keep telling me more, right? Several $1,000s. We'll take it. Okay, so we got our little background mountain in there, just far off in the distance. Doesn't have any snow, but it may. It's just so far away. It's dark, but it's light. I don't know how to explain it. In my head, this works. When I get done with it, I may say doesn't really work. All right. So I'm going to take mountain mix, add less white to it. Less white to it than the other pile. Same amount of mountain mix and adding less white to it so it stays darker. Just mixing. Let's see if this will work. This may be too dark. And some of this is going to get ate up by the mountain. And my little part over here I really like. I'm going to eat it up with the mountain. Just got to figure out how tall I want this mountain. There's one little peak. And we'll lay it out. Drag your paint down like that. Drag your paint down. And then maybe this peak. Oh, this one's going to eat up a good bit. That's alright. It's our painting. We don't care. I just mainly wanted something back there for a little background. It needs to be that dark because that's darker than what's back there. And if it's not darker than what's back there, it won't look right. Alrighty. And let's just lay this out. So let's think maybe this dips in. Just use our knife just to kind of draw it. And then it kind of comes back and we'll change the shape a little bit. Sort of like this. And it's got different layers and levels and all sorts of things in it. And we can just kind of mess it up, whatever. We can raise that up if we want to. Getting where I want it. There we go. We'll have a little divot there. Well, I don't know what the heck I just said, but I think you understand it. I don't know what it said. Make these little noises as you're working too. It's helpful. I have another one of those little I think I call it an divot. A little place for snow to land, maybe. And if you notice, this is close to being the center, but it's just ticked over maybe just a hair. And very out of the way. I think that's enough. as always, get up there, and I don't have much paint up here, but scrape, 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 scrape. Maybe a little more of that. Get that out. Save that paint. This one, and the sun's over here. The little sun's out. It's over on my right. And I do that mainly because I'm right-handed. Yeah. I can do a left-handed mountain, or a left snow mountain, we'll call it. I just don't care to. There we go, a little peak there. Get up here, and that's going to be, like I said, a little, maybe a lot of snow was collected right there in these two little places. Pull this one down a little more. Just kind of brush it out, brush it out. Go back here and pull this way. Oh, this one kind of goes like that. And then it kind of comes on down. Kind of like that. There we go. And then we got another one over here. Kind of comes into that one. And it just keeps coming down into this little valley maybe. Cold valley. Valley nonetheless. And just put a little bit of that color there and just kind of mix it out. I don't know what I think about that shape, but I'm going to leave it. So we need some snow now. And if I could do anything, I would encourage you to always put a little bit of your sky color into your snow. When I say a little bit, I mean it. So it's hard to measure and tell you exactly, but if you look at a normal sky, you're never going to see a white snowy mountain. You're going to see some grays in there. So I put a little bit of my sky color, and then we just float our knife down that mountain, right? And we don't want to go hog wild here just yet. See, what if we did this? Turn the knife, you're still pulling. Getting a little wider on that one, right? And just kind of finish it out down here somewhere. Just like that. You've got a big snowy peak. A huge snowy peak, I should say. Mountains are easy once you play with them. And you realize that you can change anything you want to on it. Once you know that you have that power, it's super easy to do because you're not scared anymore. Being scared is the worst thing. It was the worst part of a mountain. You're scared to do it because you're afraid you're going to mess something up. I've spent $4 on a canvas and I'm worried I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to take a little bit of my first mountain color here. Put a little bit, maybe be a little bit more blue or maybe a little more dark in it. Let's try more dark. We want it to show up. We don't want it just back there being lazy. You know, mountains have the tendency just to like to lay there and be lazy. Just look around at everything else because they're so high. So make them work. Put them to work. I don't want it to be super bright. I think that'll work. And I'm using two colors, mountain mix and white, for this painting, so I have no option to put blue in it. I can go darker though, just like right there. A little bit down here. We're going to have a lot of mist and fog down here in a minute anyway. And I hope that shows up well enough for you guys to see. That's really enough of a contrast for it to work. Alright, so I need over here on my palette, I got to get me another squirt of mountain mix out. There we go, big squirt. I need to mix me up a little more of my shadow color, because I've got out. problem with doing this, you always get it off, but that's okay. It's no big deal. I'm gonna put a little bit of dark back up in there. There, that's what I was wanting to start with. And right back in here where it's hard to get, just go in with that little edge and pull back a little bit and you've got it. That's the color I was needing. A little bit more right there. Okay. Clean off our knife before we go back to the palette for some more snow. And we'll clean up edges and things at the end. But we know right in here, I'm going to kind of deposit some snow. It's kind of like that. Just hanging out up there. Okay. I'll have this one probably have a lot, and the other one not have quite as much. We'll put a little bit on this guy. Just let that knife float. Let it float. I think Bob said that we all float down here. Oh wait, no, wait, that's a different thing. Sorry. I've taken the Stephen King universe and added it to the Bob Ross TV painting show. Don't do that. We don't want to scare kids. But your knife should float. It should float. What we want it to do. Float right down, and I'm just trying to figure out what I want here. There. Don't be worried about some spots getting more snow than others. Look at a mountain. The best thing you could do if you're struggling to lay these out, and I should probably just start painting from pictures so that I could say this is, you know, Transylvania Mountain or something. I don't know. Dracula's castle's right over that peak. But down here I don't really want to put much. We're going to have a lot of mist down there at the bottom. So there's no point in putting a lot of snow. Alright, let's get back here and do a little bit of work here. We're going to darken this up and just push up into that. Pull in a little bit of shadow. Remember, you probably need I don't know percentage to tell you, but you need a lot less shadow than you do highlights on a mountain for them to look nice. So just kind of play with it and try to figure out what that percentage may be. And I'm going to do that right there. I got it really nice. I like that. I can see some of the lighter mountain, and then that color's really dark, and it almost looks right. I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. Let's just put some little things that stick over like that, okay? You never want a mountain just to be cut off straight down. You want to have pieces that go back over and say howdy do to the other side, kind of like that. Because that'll round it, that'll give it a little more dimension, I think. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And if it messes up your shadow, so what? You know what you do? You go back and you put it back. And we'll do that, just so you're not worried about it. I used to worry so much about every little brush stroke or knife mark that it got in the way a lot of times of just having fun and not worrying about what it looked like, because I could clean this canvas off with thinner, you know, or I could just throw it away. This is expensive canvas, like I said, but I got it on, you know, sale, so it's not a big deal. I'm gonna go ahead and put my shadow over here. Over here doesn't matter as much. There we go. I just don't want to go outside of my. There, we'll put a little bit there. grab a little more snow and let's do this little glacier-y looking thing here. I'm not gonna let that come all the way over like I did the other one. If you can hear somebody talking, my wife's in a meeting in there, and she's talking rather loud. Right. You can just see my process here with mountains. This is not meant to be a perfect painting. It probably won't be when I'm done. But hopefully it'll give you some ideas of how mountains work and how you can deal with them and play with them and change them and, you know, happy little stuff like that. A little bit of this shadow color just to kind of live in there. And if there's a little of the white and the shadow color that mixes together, that's perfect. That's perfect. Because little specks of light might hit right there. Hit right there, hit right there. And that's what we want. Okay? And that's just one, that's really just one mountain. We're going to put another one, I think, unless I change my mind. Sometimes I go back here and grab just the edges of this snow that I added those peaks. That way it doesn't look like it's floating. You probably can't see that, but if you're in person, it would look that way. Just like that. So it really anchors it. Maybe there's a little dark right in here. We could put just some dark and I don't know, just whatever. And then we can let some of this kind of come and just live down in here with the dark. I'm not worried about this. I may do this, so yeah, just a little bit there. Okay. Yeah, that'll work for me. Let's go back to our brush that has a little blue on it. And then I'll also add to the white a little bit of a color so it's not stark white. And just tickle that mountain there. And what I want to do with this one is I want to take a little bit of that white paint and just kind of bring it out. And the reason I'm using blue, I'm making little foothills. I don't know if I'm going to keep this as one mountain or two, so if I've got another mountain on here, it won't matter. So this, I may like this. Yeah, I'm liking this. See, making little snowy places that we could ski down maybe. Sorry. Kind of going around, grabbing a little bit of that dark, bringing it down, misting it out. There we go. There. Yeah. Let's just come over here. Bring a little bit of it down. Open here, tap a little bit, tap a little bit. I'm tapping kind of like that, just to add some color there. Mix that out. There we go. Yeah. Now if you notice, these three peaks are almost the same size, and I didn't notice that. That one is taller. And actually that one's taller than that one. Just by a smidge. It's not much. I wasn't paying attention. But it looks okay. Yeah, it looks okay. The only thing I don't like, and I gotta go back and touch up right here, is this. I'm sorry for the squeaky chair. Squeaky chair's with me tonight. Maybe raise that up. Just kind of mess it up a little bit there. Back here, pull back on it a little bit. There. There we go. I think it's kind of punching out of that mountain there. Okay. I tell you, I'm really liking these foothills. So what we may do is just do something down here. I'm going to have trees living all up through here. So I think I figured out what I want to do. That's amazing for me. I'm going to take a little mountain mix. A little white. A good bit, actually. On 1 inch. And I'm going to, it may be too dark. I'm going to brighten some of these up. These little areas back here. Let them get mistier and not as distinct as you get up the mountain. Kind of tap some of these little ridges in here. Tap, tap, tap that one. Bring that one out. And they just kind of stop. They disappear into the ether. This is the tree line, the timber line. We're starting to see those trees come back now. We're going if we wanted to. Could pop them a bit. If you do this, make sure you pop them straight up. And you don't pull so far that, you know, you have coastal redwoods in a big mountain here. You can have tall trees. I like tall trees. I need just a touch more right there. That one's closer to me, so it should be almost a little darker. And pick. It's actually easier, if you want my opinion, it's easier to take the 2 inch and just kind of go through all of them. There. Do you see that? And that just kind of, what we can do is get in here and just tap a cleaner line if we wanted to. Something like that. Yeah. Now, over here, it's kind of a recessed area like this. There's a little bowl in here. So there's sun, and a little more dark here. There's some that kind of live, they go all the way up to that ridge. But what they do is kind of this, like that. Make a little hill of them right here, can join those with the other one. Pick up. Sometimes I turn my brush this way and pull up. The reason being is it gives me a bigger clump of trees, smaller like this, instead of having the whole brush, but it also raises those up above the others, and it looks nice. I think. I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm liking those darker ones over there. Maybe another little bit right here. Even darker. Look here. Maybe we can go darker. This is pretty much mountain mix with just a touch of white. I have some foothills now. Now I wish I had another clean 1 inch, because doing foothills with the 2 inch is much easier than the 1 inch. There we go. Another reason I like the 2 inch is you can keep those, or at least I can, keep the top a little darker, it seems. And we're going to flatten these out right through here. I'm going to add a little bit right here. And then beef them up in the front. Okay, something like that. Bring that down a little bit more over here. There. Alright. I think I want to raise this one up a little bit. I'm going to lose some of those nice ones back there, but we still see them. Don't cover them all up. Alright, take our big brush now. Again, this is a perfect opportunity to turn the brush like this and just pull them up. And if you start in the mountain or the foothill, you won't get those too big. If you start right at the top, sometimes you get them too big. That's my opinion. That's just what I've done from, or what I've noticed from painting for a while. But there's another little clump. See how it kind of made that one? Alright. It's cold painting, isn't it? Grays and blues is really what we're working with. Yeah. Now, truth be told, I don't like that little area there. It looks odd, so I'm just going to fill it in a little bit. There, I like that much better. I'll just use the 1 inch for these. Okay. Yeah, I like that better. Alright, so we've got a bunch of snow, right? We could just have land here, but I think we'll do water. I can tell I didn't put much liquid white there. I don't want it to pull down as easily. There. We'll make it. And get forceful. This is where you get mad at the canvas. Okay? Just pull straight down. And if you need to, add a bit of dark to your brush. See if I did that. Yeah, there we go. I'm pulling straight down. If you pull to the side, you're going to get really angry at yourself because your water is going to get on your floor. I just still want to bog lines. Still not getting what I want. So, why is this darker? There. Added a little bit more of the dark. And it'll be, you'd have more dark here because these are closer to us, these two end pieces, than back here. But we still need a little bit down there too. Alright, now go across it. 2 hairs and some air. And I'm keeping my brush, as you can tell, fix that little mountain there, horizontal to the canvas. If you don't, you run into that water problem again. I am not going to reflect the mountain. If you want to take the time to reflect the mountain, go right ahead. You're glutton for punishment. Alright, I'm going to take a small roll of titanium white. Okay? And we are going to go back in here. And we're going to make our water line. I'm just sawing. Look at my knife. Just kind of coming down. Meeting the angles of the mountains. And what I've got to always step back for myself and do is make sure it doesn't like go sideways or all of a sudden look really weird. Yeah, I wanted a little cove effect there. I got it. And we got it. We can put some little things coming out here. This doesn't have to be still water. It could be running water for all we know. There we go. Let me kick a few more of those back. That way. Use it up even. Get back higher. There we go. Yeah, it could be ice too. I imagine it's cold wherever I'm painting. Don't you? There we go. Alright. I'm not going to put anything on though. Just go leave it kind of dark. It's cold, but it's not so cold that those would have snow showing everywhere. I'm just using artistic license that I have. I'm taking liberties with the painting. There we go. We have a big strong mountain, some little foothills that are off in the distance, bigger foothills. Now we just need to go full speed ahead here. I know that I'm going to have trees all down in here. And so smack some dark on. A little more. And a little more on. For now, we'll stop there. I would like to bring it to where it's kind of in like that, but I want to start putting trees on. Alright, what kind of trees do we want? I guess we'll do some evergreens and maybe a couple birch trees. Evergreens and birches. I want my evergreens to be really dark, but I don't want them to be completely mountain mix. So I'm adding just a touch of white. Let's see what that looks like. So I know I could probably get one right here. And I'm doing it again. I'm using my filbert. Making a bigger trunk there. Alright. I had to take just a second for the dogs. I'm back. We were working on trees, weren't we? I think that's going to be dark enough. But we'll see when we put the cover on. Not the cover, but the actual pine stuff on them. Pine, cedar, I don't know what kind of trees I paint. I should look at trees, and I love trees. So I should look at them and figure out what I'm painting. Let's put one a little further away, right here. Maybe I'll bring that one all the way down, maybe. And we need one more of these guys. I'm gonna raise this one up just a hair, because I want to. And remember, you push harder as you get down the canvas, whether you're using this brush or a fan brush or whatever, and you get a bigger trunk. Sometimes I don't put a trunk if I'm using a fan brush. I just put a little dot at the top, you know, go and then start the tree, and it just fills it up itself. On these, I like to have a little trunk that stands out. And remember, this is two colors that we're working with. You can probably tell that from how the painting looks, but it's nice. I like monochromatic looks. I'm going to put a smaller one here, but this one's going to stop right there. Alright, you don't have to have them spaced out to where they go down like this. You wouldn't want this one here and the tall one right here, I don't think. I think that would look odd. I'm not an artist though, so we're just going to tap, 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 and just kind of work in some stuff here at the top. Looks like I'm going to need some paint out in a minute. And when we get into the mountain, you may not see them real well until we put the until we put the highlight on them. And just bounce around. Don't have a tree that looks the exact same. You know, put some, and then bounce down this way. Let that one come back that way a little bit and go out that way. Just kind of filling these up. And I really think this little filbert brush is super effective at these. And I guarantee you, the only reason Bob did not use it on the show as much is because it takes a little bit more time. Bob didn't have a lot of time. I was telling you when I started this painting. You don't have to rush. I don't have to rush. YouTube probably go get mad at me for uploading an hour video or so. Making up all our bandwidth with Bob Ross stuff. I have to get over it. Alright, there's one. Chair back so it don't squeak as much. And this one. Now here's the thing with being in the snow. You're going to pick up some of that snow. If you are careful and just push just a little bit harder and then wipe your brush on a paper towel before you go back into your dark, you should be able to get through that snow without having to put thinner. Worst case scenario is you had to touch it thinner. And the reason I don't like to do that is it can become a mess, as you know. So we're getting closer and closer to finishing this one. If you guys try these, please share them with me. Even if you have to email them to me. You can also go, I think, on the About section of the page and look at the thing. You should be able to find my not YouTube, but my Facebook page for my art. or whatever we call this, and share it there. I'd love to see them if you try these. A lot of people share them in different Bob Ross groups. I'm in a couple of those on Facebook. Let's do this one, and then we'll be done with these evergreen. Now, what I'm noticing is I will have to put some snow or something on this land, so I'll probably have to go back and doctor these up in a minute. The trunks. I enjoy doing these videos. I used to teach classes, and then COVID hit. I'll teach classes again once everything calms back down, but I'll also keep doing these. Classes are great. I like interacting with folks, but I feel like I got such a huge audience available here that if people like these, it's nice to share the joy of painting with folks. I think Bob came up with a good name for the show when he said joy of painting, because it really can change your life, give you something to look forward to, give you something to alleviate stress. Buddy Justin talks about that. Steve talks about that. Painting came into my life after my golden retriever passed away unexpectedly. She was my shadow, and boy, I took off because it gave me an escape. I couldn't think about the bad stuff when you're painting, the bad or the sad. Not that you shouldn't think about sad stuff sometimes. It's okay to be sad. It's also nice to have a distraction. There we go. Some big old pine trees or cedars, or I don't know what those guys are. I'm really liking those. So I'll tell you what, let's do our land and put our trunks back in, and we'll see where we're at then. All right. Let's grab a clean brush, fairly clean. Probably, because this paint's really dry, I'm going to put just a touch of liquid white in mine. Try yours out before you do this. It may stick without having to do the liquid white. For some reason I'm getting really thick paint right now, and that's actually a good thing. I'm going to use a grayish snow color. It's not pure white, it's got some mountain mix in it. And you're going to see what I'm talking about. I've got to kill my trunks a minute. Sorry, Bob, I don't mean to kill my tree trunks. And something like that. And pick up a little more paint because it's getting a little too loose. And there we go. A little snowy bank. Now, see, all my trees are sitting on the same plane now. Let's do this. Get this one back out. Bring him or her right down there. Let's bring our little guy here. Right there. And then maybe this one kind of comes, or shoot, this one could just be the one that goes all the way down. It doesn't matter. You decide. Bob told us we had power to move mountains. You also have power just to push trees around to where you want them. So do it. The trees don't mind. You helping the trees grow a little bit? Oh, I didn't mean to grab that much dark. I wanted that one a little bit darker over here. Disappearing a little bit. I may not even highlight these. Just stick with the, because this is essentially a black and white painting. Someone asked me to do a black and white painting. Do it the same way, use black instead of mountain mix. You've got it. That's there's nothing else. The differences are there. The similarities between black and white are there, is what I mean. I'm liking these trees so much, guys. I'm going to do another one. Just a clump of these. I'm loving these. And they don't all have to be huge. Let's go right here for one. And keep it a little skinnier too if we want to. But I'm not worried about highlighting my trunk. You could. You absolutely could, and it would look nice. I'm not going to on mine. And And I'm getting them, this is really thick right here, so I'm just gotta take a little bit of time right there. That's the good thing about the filbert, it holds a lot of paint. I think we can get through that. A lot of paint. And just kind of let them be. So if you watch the channel a lot and watch me paint, you're gonna watch a lot of mountains because I like painting them. And I want to keep getting better at it. I want my mountains to look, you know, like mountains look, not just like Bob's. You know, I mean, I want realistic mountains sometimes. So I'll keep working on them and keep working on them, changing the technique a little bit maybe as we go. Don't get stuck and just say, I painted good enough, stop. Keep going. See where you can go. Yeah. And I'm still thinking about getting a new stool so you guys don't have to hear squeaky chair anymore. You might miss it. I'm just darkening those up a little bit in the trunks. Oh, one more. I got 4. I can't have 4. I gotta have 5 at least. Come on. But this one could be tiny. Maybe it grows all the way off though. And just wherever. I like keeping the center really nice and dark and then just letting them, they can be ghostly. Kind of what I call it on the outskirts. There we go. Got a nice little bunch of trees there, guys. I don't know that I need, now I'm gonna sit back and look at it. I don't know if I need any birch trees. I'm loving those evergreens. So let's just keep going. Let's just seal this lake off. Maybe this is a ridge here. Let this one meet up with this one. Doesn't have to be huge. Something like that. Go ahead and highlight this so we don't run into that same problem. Just a little bit. Goodness, I got runny on me. Maybe just a little bit there. Cold and snowy. Alright. I say no birches. Maybe we'll do a birch painting, but in this one I don't see birch. So see, I started out, I was going to have 3 levels of mountains. I intended to have birch trees and all these things, but I'm loving these little guys so much that we're probably just going to stick with these. And we could have one right here that I don't want any more taller than these 2, but I want one taller than that, so right there. Just a couple here to balance it maybe. And I don't want to kill all my little foothills back there, so keep them kind of sparse. The good thing about this brush I find, it makes me keep them a little more sparse in the middle. I don't know why. People can make ones that look just like this and better with the fan brush, but for me, it seems to work out fairly well using the filbert. I could put smaller little branches coming off. It seems to work. And if it works, we keep doing it, right? These trees will push that mountain back enough. We got our clouds up there in the sky. All kinds of happy little things happening. Maybe just fill that one in a little bit more at the bottom. That will make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where's this one going to be? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Should have known I'd make another big one. Off the canvas. Off the canvas. Now, I'm not going to highlight mine. I'm liking them just this color. I don't know why. Feel free to highlight them. Feel free to put 3 ranges of mountains in. My videos are just to show you how I paint and how maybe I approach setting up a painting. They're not meant to be followed to the T. What am I going to do? Track you down and say, how dare you? I'm not that mean. You paint what you want to paint. I do appreciate if you paint these. Just always give me a shout out, because if you give me a shout out, I will likely see what you're painting. Well, ask me about selling paintings that I come up with. I don't care. If you make a happy buck, I'm kind of like Bob. It's always nice to get a shout out. If it's something original, sometimes I'll be painting Bob's. Give Bob a shout out. And I try to still. Say, this is inspired by Bob, this is inspired by Nick Hankins, stuff like that. Yeah, okay. A couple little details here to put in. If we wanted to, and then we're done. Got another nice little painting. That's not going to show up. If you watch me long enough, you know I like stick trees. Now these are kind of a tribute to Bob. He loved to throw little trees and sticks in a painting. So we can do that too. Here's one. Maybe we'll have a couple of these. Maybe there's a little one. Just kind of seeing how to do there. You don't have to all have great detail on them. Maybe there's one over here that you really got to look to find. There we go. And then another thing you can always do on these guys is just pull off some little hangy things, because these things have branches. We don't paint them, do we? But they do have branches. They have them coming off, and that's where the pine needles or the cedar needles or whatever, they sit on those. And sometimes you'll see them, because one will die, and you'll see it. If you get an odd one, you just say, okay, that's probably enough. I got an odd one. And I just keep going. Just throwing some little things off of them. Here and there. And then we'll sign it and we're done. And I think I'm probably over an hour. I'm trying to keep these full tutorials where we paint a whole painting to about an hour. I think it's probably a good time frame and limit. We'll sign it right here. That's not dark enough. There we go. They get a little darker color. We'll sign it right here. And we'll sell this one, like 25 bucks. Barely pay for the canvas. I'm kidding. I won't sell it to you for 25 bucks. But there it is. A super easy painting as far as colors. You don't have to worry about too many colors. There's 2 colors. It is literally mountain mix and white. You could take black and use black so that you, have it's a monochromatic. You could take brown and white and paint this painting. I'm going to pause it and take you in front of the picture and so you can see the whole thing. There it is. Doesn't look half bad, really. I like the little ridge behind the big mountain. And again, super easy palette. Get you 2 colors and paint this. And I'm leaving snow off my trees just because I like the way it looks. So thanks for watching. If you like it, subscribe or give us a like. Subscribe, share it with your friends, family, pets, anyone that wants to watch. And I will see you guys probably in a couple of days. Everybody stay well and be kind to each other. Take care, my friends.